A non-supernatural universe, there's just its character and its humanity and its human beings and how they relate to each other. And then, of course, the added bonus of this really is genre, this piece, because there's the virus itself is a monster. It's the jaws and the monster under the bed and all those things, So it's, I assume writing a nice family drama would be more difficult probably. But this is a perfect blend of just being able to really explore humanity and also give people a little, nudge attention or suspense or mystery and that kind of thing. It's honestly, it's a very long, slow journey through the first season. It's something that the Belgian series did really nicely, and I really took my hat off to them and how they unfolded the details of their mystery of, who brought it here, how to get here, what is it, and that kind of thing. And we try not to stall ever, but we try to dole it out in very small doses. It's not a Lost-sized mystery that will have you, screaming like, what happened and how, when did we find out, every episode, but it is enough just to kind of wet your whistle and keep you engaged and asking those questions, which I like. I like a kind of a subtle thread of a conspiracy as opposed to, to get it going all boring on it from the get-go. One of the choices that we made going into this was to try to keep everything as grounded as possible in real-world predicaments and not falling prey to the urge of making something bigger or weirder or cooler, and try to hold off on that as long as we could and maximize what we could get out of the very simple idea of a virus to which there is no cure. That being said, there's some elements that shift about the virus which throw people for a couple loops, and it certainly leaves a door wide open for the future of the series in which anything can go. I thought Chris was too young, and I knew that I was very responsive to him as an actor and very excited about him as an actor, and I knew that he would be coming available. And I hated the idea of him going to work for somebody else. I felt like he was this incredible find, this diamond that we had dug up in the desert, and couldn't imagine him going to do somebody else's show. And so I was like, all right, look, I'm gonna bring him in. I'm not gonna say anything. I'm just gonna see what other people think. And Nutter was with me at the casting session. And by this point, by the way, Chris had been at my house over the holidays playing cards because we're big game geeks, and so he had seen the whole Belgian version. He'd had called me when he read the script, being like, "This part is mine," and I'm like, "Good luck, buddy," and he was so invested in it, and I was like, "Oh God, oh God, oh God, please, please, please don't please do well." And I didn't say a word, and he walked out of the room, and David Nutter was like, "That kid is fantastic. He's it for me. I want him." And I was like, "Okay, so are you sure? You don't think he's too young?" And he's like, no, tell him to grow some facial hair. He'll look great, and lo and behold, here we are. It's so funny, because it's like the wife beaters are the perfect costume for what he has to do. But every time he comes on screen, I'm like, oh, he looks like a pinup boy. They're like, the CW is going to think we did that on purpose just for them. But it's actually realistic. Well, yeah, it's a series grounded a lot in humanity, and humanity has both its beautiful and its ugly sides. And so you see people constantly faced with decisions that they have to make in a complete crisis-based situation. There's also the fact that the first thing that happens is the patient zero is a man of Middle Eastern descent, and so of course there's a lot of fingers pointing and a lot of anger and a lot of hostility and some xenophobia, and it has to make a lot of people ask over the course of the series, why are we so quick to point our fingers in a certain direction? There's some nice subtextual racial politics, but really it's who are you? And what kind of person are you in this kind of situation? Does it really bring out the side of you that you're proud of, or does it bring out a side of you that you hope you never have to see again? It has probably a full time of, over the course of the 13 episodes, about 20 days. And we hit day 13, about episode 9 and episode 8. There's a lot of goodwill for Chris, which is fantastic. He made a really big splash in the Vampire Diaries fan community, and I think that they're all looking forward to see what he does. And I think the audience that started watching Vampire Diaries at God knows how young, they're grown ups now. They're adults, and so to be able to show them like, hey, like I'm a grown up too, you know, like look at what we did together. We grew up and we're tackling and diving into all these really extreme circumstances and these deep themes. So I hope they like it. There is a lot that happens over the course of this season. You know, death is kind of knocking at everybody's door all the time. It's an extremely potent disease. It does not treat people well, and it is not discriminatory in any way, whether it attacks series regulars or third guest star from the right. You know, it's very powerful, and so I think that in addition to a great mystery and some, you know, and some nice moments of humanity, there's a big emotional roller coaster that this show will take you on. And having watched the Belgian version, which I recommend you don't do because then you'll spoil yourself for it. For, you know, moving forward, you don't want to ruin it for yourself, but it knocked me out a couple times. There's a couple sucker punches where you're just like, dude, that's not cool, and we're borrowing that. So I think people will be able to remain very engaged because it definitely sort of leaves you afraid of what could happen next.